We live?
I think
Call a meeting, Parks and Rec, May 2nd meeting, May 3rd. First agenda item, meetings of the April meeting. Anybody make a motion for them? And somebody?
I make a motion to accept as written.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So nobody had any adjustments on it or corrections? Okay. Citizens' comments. Good. Hartford Brook update.
So the next challenge is to get sheetrocking done, I think, drywall and finishing it. So it's been hydroseeded, the inside has been hydroseeded, the fencers just finished today, so
Wow.
the foul territory fences, the first and third base fences and the backstop are all in with good gates.
Gates are in now? They were
Yep.
good.
It's all, and the doors are in, the stairs are in, the partitions are framed. I just, put a temporary cover over the garage door, cause Sean said that won't be in for a week or so. And we wanted that in before Hugh puts in the, pressure tank and controller. So that can go in now, and then we can, hook up the, irrigation system to water. And,
Are the heads in for the irrigation system?
Yep, the irrigation system's all in.
Yeah.
And then we need to buy bases.
They're done. No, I already told them they're in.
Just kinda
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, they're
Rubber
They're good to go.
bases.
The whole base sets are in
Yeah.
that shed in the back. Order those. I have
So-
fencing, temporary fencing. I have fence caps are coming tomorrow morning.
So I can get in there again when it's dry and lay the field out again and spike the bases, so you know exactly where they are.
Yep.
And, right, and get it all laid out again, but,
One question I had on the backstop, because as I put in one of the Facebook posts, when you miss a day, you miss a lot, and I haven't been up there since yesterday. Did the backstop fencing include an overhang
Yeah.
part? Oh, awesome.
they were
Okay,
doing
great.
that today.
Great. Yeah, it looks fantastic up
It
there.
looks great.
I-
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is-
no, it's good.
Is the rough plumbing and electrical all set?
Well, as much as you can, a lot of it, you know, he's not gonna do the plumbing until the, water service is in. Ron's not gonna come back, he wants to be able to hook it up to the water, so that's not done.
I think the roughing is.
The electrical is in. The electrical's all in. They've been in since the partitions were there, because there's boxes on the partitions.
Yeah, I saw a light
So
on
that's
yesterday, too.
Right, there's an outside light on, or a little,
So is there power to the building now?
yep. Power went in last week.
Septic system is,
Almost finished. It just needs to be inspected, it looked like. It was all open, but all the pipe was in and covered, and, just the top's exposed, the sand is in. He's gonna need a bunch of loam now, I guess. But that's really close. He's been working evenings, I guess. He's probably over there now. I don't know.
yeah, I went over Sunday. It looks really good, so, from Saturday.
Yeah, I got back, just before noon today, and we're a little stuck on getting the water service in. Hugh just didn't want to put his $1,500 controller in there until the building was secure, so. that's
Great.
done. So, in terms of updates, the big deal right now is to find somebody to do drywall. I think if we get the drywall done, the electrical will all be done, the plumbing is all worked out, we know how all that's gonna work. And I'm not sure, but I hope we can just drywall 2 rooms. I hope we can just do the bathroom and the concession, that the maintenance part and the equipment storage don't need to be. There's a lot of room upstairs,
Hmm.
a lot of room. And then we'll have to put up railings on the stairs, railings around the top, cabinets, shelves, counters, and the casings on the windows and doors where the sheetrock is, and paint it.
Are we gonna?
We could do all that.
Are we gonna insulate the exterior wall?
No intention to. at this point. There's no heat. There's no provision for
Yeah,
heat.
no.
I don't think there's any reason to.
Are we looking for
Expectation.
drywall?
People think we should,
Yeah.
then
Well, we didn't
another
there.
thing to
Across the
consider.
street, it's been remarkable how it,
It did or didn't? I can't remember.
we didn't. And it's, we've done really well in terms of
Yeah.
that stuff, yeah.
It does help in the heat, too. In the
Yep.
summer, it
Yep.
keeps it cooler, so.
Yep.
Might have-
Yeah, that's more of
but
an
what
issue,
would
I would
matter
say.
is like doing the roof and stuff, you know?
Right.
I mean, those walls that we're gonna sheet rock. And if we do the other walls, then we gotta cover it. I don't know.
Well, maybe it's not worth it.
I know one of the people who
another
helped
big
with the
expense.
sheet rock across the street was Rainey Duhamel.
Do him, yeah,
Yeah, if he still does that, whatever, maybe.
still does it.
Well, it'd be good to be networking around to people who might do it at a good rate.
Yep.
It's a pretty small job. There's one room that's 7.5 feet square and about a 10-foot ceiling, another one has a 10-foot ceiling, and 3 sides of that room need to be fire code. The exterior walls don't need to be, and it would be the equivalent of a 14 by 16-foot room probably. And the ceiling needs to be strapped really, I think.
So the garage area has to be with the rated wall.
No, just the partitions and the ceiling of the concession area. That's it. Garage area isn't really a garage, it's, you know, it's not like car storage, but no, it doesn't have to be.
The other one too, I think, was Ron Forsythe. And I know him.
And I think, that's what I'm thinking, is that that area for storage wouldn't have any sheetrock, I hope. I'll talk to Rick tomorrow. And see what we need to do. And it may be time for him to be down there and inspect anyways. I'll tell him where we are.
Okay.
Right now, there are 4 keys. The same key works all the exterior doors, the 3 hinge doors. There's 4 keys in the building now. I have one, Joe has one. And there's only one door open, which is the hinge door that's beside the garage door. I left everything else locked. So we have to work out how we're gonna handle keys. And for right now, you know, Hugh has to get in there when he goes, and Ron has to get in there when he goes, and Tony's crew, when they.
I could get one of those. We use it across the street now. We put it on last year. It goes right on the doorknob, little key box. Everybody knows the code. And
Okay.
Right inside the key box on
All
the
right,
doorknob.
that sounds good.
Yeah, I can grab one of those.
Because then you can do it by phone. If somebody's, I can't get in, you just say, here's the code.
Yep.
That's nice. That sounds great. Let's do that.
Yep.
Excellent.
The other thing, if we need to strap it, I don't mind, I can go down and strap the
Ceiling? Yeah.
ceiling. Yeah. I can't remember if it's
Should be
upstairs.
done to do it right. You know, it's pretty high.
Yeah, I did down here.
It's pretty high. It's,
Well, upstairs. The
no,
ceiling.
downstairs is, upstairs we don't have to worry about. It's downstairs where it's gonna get sheet rocked. That needs to be
Yeah.
strapped.
I'll look into
And
it.
It's just a high ceiling because it's on top of the 4 inches of concrete.
Right,
Then they use full 8-foot studs on top of the shoe
right.
and the top plate on top of that, so it was almost 10 feet from the floor to the second floor, so it's about 9-foot ceiling, I guess.
Yeah.
And,
8-foot ladders,
Yeah.
what's that?
8-foot ladders. I could help you with that.
Yeah, no, you need to be on a ladder and, you know, there's all the, I don't know, maybe
It's broken up enough, it wouldn't be that hard to do.
How soon would you be looking for the sheet rocker to actually?
I think they could work, as soon as Ron finishes, they could do it. And that could be in 2 days. It's
Okay.
really soon.
Okay.
You know, Hugh is eager to get it done, but he did not want to work but without it secured, so I did that so he could work, so. Everybody else was okay, but his equipment is very valuable, what he's putting in there, and he feels responsible, you know, until we're using it. So,
Right.
One other note, Nancy Brown to get a little update on this much going up there, and I think she's gonna try to stop by there at some point too and take a look as well.
Who's that?
Nancy Brown.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
And obviously, we might, because we're moving at such a great pace here, be hosting events up there pretty quickly, and I guess we would call that in the business kind of a soft opening, still looking towards you know, on a big ceremonial opening, or actually even naming the fields still, naming the different parts of the buildings, the fields, the building itself, the field site itself. I keep coming back to the ball fields at Hartford Brook, or the fields at Hartford Brook, but that's just what I put in my own mind, but coming up with definite names for it, and how we're gonna honor everybody who's been involved up there.
The one thing that when I think about that I would really like to see is just a clean dedication to the kind of principles of sportsmanship and fair play and respect for children and stuff that, you know, your programs are sort of based on. Honor, just some kind of, you know, to the development, the healthy development of the youth of Deerfield, but more than that. Or somehow we'd have to touch on adult sports too, but, you know, that kind of, that dedication to community, I think, and constructively. That's the one that strikes me. There isn't anybody involved. I mean, Nancy wants to see it maybe, but the other people prefer to stay under the radar anyway, pretty much. So,
Yeah, some of the things too, I've looked up, like different kind of names and stuff, and other, some places like Volunteer Field, or, you know, different things like that, that tie in some of the things you're saying as well, but I think that's kind of even its own meeting, and how we're gonna do it, and any signage or anything like that, you know.
It's not gonna be easy.
yeah. Yeah, the piece I'm saying isn't the name, but it's some kind of dedication to
Yeah.
that, just keep that in front of us. But that one about drywall, that is an important immediate question.
Yep.
Because otherwise, we're just going to the market and getting 3 bids. And I wonder if that question could also go out to Bulldogs. I mean, this is something anybody who's a craftsman could
Yep,
do, is
yep.
just taking the time to do it, you know?
They may have some
If I
connections
weren't
with
doing the
them.
250th, I'd say, all right, I'll sheetrock it, but
Right.
I'm not doing it now.
Even a Facebook post, what other progress we're having up there.
All right.
We're looking
Yeah.
for this,
See
and
if we can,
I bet there'll be some responses to that.
And then people don't have to feel like, if they're in that business, they don't have to feel like they have to volunteer, but they could just give us a great deal.
Yep.
You know, like Ron is, we're paying for the material and he's doing the work, and,
Yep.
you know.
I'm sure we could come up with some helpers. If it, say, really one skilled individual, who knows what they're doing? I can hold sheetrock with the best of them, but,
But doing a good job taping and finishing.
Yeah.
It's not for volunteers, really, if you're gonna go in there and feel good about how it looks.
I know Rainey's good.
Hmm.
Looks fast and good.
Yeah. I think your idea of putting it on Facebook would
Yeah.
be,
Yeah.
put it right out there and see if you get any hits on it.
Do you talk to Jackie frequently as well, or Rainey himself?
I
or-
bumped into them this past weekend, actually Friday night, so I can give them
Yeah,
a
just say,
buzz
yeah, we're
and
looking.
just say
yeah.
we're looking.
And it's the kind of thing, I think that direct asking is the way to go.
Mhm.
I mean, it's good to put it out there, it's good to ask, somebody may
Yep.
step up.
Yep.
But it more happens with the kind of arm twisting that Dave did to make this happen, you know?
Arm breaking.
He didn't give Sean any choices. It's just, and so that direct asking, saying, you know, we've had a lot of volunteer work on this, we got a couple of rooms we need to have drywalled and finished, and, I mean, hanging the drywall is the easy part, really, and that, we could do that, we could get a lift, and then it's easy, relatively easy to do that.
Still a lot
It's the
easier for
taping
somebody
and
that knows what they're
mudding.
doing.
The taping and mudding, that's a,
Yeah. Well, I could get the drywall up pretty good. It's the taping and mudding, just somebody who's done a ton of it and is quick and has the right tools.
That's why I remember that same scenario over there, we did.
Who
need
did it
that
over there?
Expertise.
the Rainey.
Yeah, Rainey did, and
Yeah.
like I say, Ron Forsyth, I was involved in one aspect of it as well, but I know Rainey was definitely,
He made some old walls in my house look pretty darn good, so.
Yeah. Yeah, that skill it's just 10 times faster for somebody who's good at it.
Did you say it's been hydroseeded?
Yes,
Yeah.
the field has.
When do they
There's
expect?
more work to be done, but, so outside the fences hasn't been done.
Saturday?
But it was hydroseeded, right, yeah, I think Saturday.
No, it wasn't when I was there, but.
It's,
Yeah, it's sometime Saturday, because Sunday I had the pictures.
Yeah, that's right. I
I
mean,
talked on the phone Saturday, I think they were doing it that night.
Yeah,
so do
sometime.
we need to come up with a schedule when we might be able to use it? Are we gonna hang on and see how it takes, or what's the,
Well, I think they'd like to see the Little League team on there in 4 or 5 weeks, but gotta see where the grass
yeah,
is.
well, that's what I'm saying,
When
let's
it
see
gets
what
strong
it
enough,
is.
start mowing it.
Yeah, I think the good thing, Jeff, is we basically, because we have a schedule, we have, at the other field, we're just going full speed ahead, and as soon as
Right.
we get the green light, we're gonna say, this Saturday's game is
Put a
gonna get
couple
moved
games
over
over,
there,
yeah.
or whatever, however we do it, so.
And there may be kind of a breaking in game, celebration game,
Right.
but you may not move all the games because it may
Yeah,
be
oh,
pretty
yeah,
hard on
yeah,
your
yeah,
grass.
yeah, yeah.
But it would be fun for Dave and Tony to see
Yeah,
the kids
absolutely.
playing over there
Sure.
when they can.
Yeah.
And so maybe it makes sense to not try to do the bases until we get close to use, because it's just gonna tempt
Right.
somebody to go out there,
Oh, yeah,
right?
that's a good
Yeah.
point.
So maybe I won't do anything about that until we're really close, and then I'll find those same spots again. And,
Yeah, and I got two sets, obviously, because we're gonna have the softball side as well. I'm just trying to think about 8 pitchers.
in fact, I could take the bases and actually put them in. That would be better than me marking them.
Mhm.
Because the place you mark, like for first base, is the outside corner, but it probably sits on the middle.
Yep.
All right, so,
And these are the easiest bases in the world to put in. They're doing it, the soft touch ones. It's just a simple square dig out. They drop right in. They really hold nice and, yeah.
So we're probably not till the 1st of June that'll be used. 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And we'll see how it goes, not,
Right,
So-
and as we said, we would communicate with the Bulldogs. I mean, honestly, I don't know the exact plan, the layout, but I do sit here in my original fears of just football and soccer and what they do to field. We have to make sure that that is usable. We don't want to obviously tear it up before we even,
but
Get
did you say they
started.
hydroseeded just the infield, or the?
no, the field,
The
they
baseball
hydroseeded
field.
everything that was,
You were great.
York, no, that was, Harley raked, that's inside the fences.
Okay,
But nothing outside the fences because they were still driving on it. I mean, part of it's really dug up right now for the
yeah,
septic system, and then they were still driving on it, putting the fences in.
yeah.
And that really needs some work on it before it's hydroseeded, and that's probably handwork now. So,
but the baseball field, not the
Right.
entire.
this is the outside the fences, especially on that, on the third base side. It's pretty rough, and it really should be raked out before it's hydroseeded. It
And
just-
maybe if we're getting loan for the
messy.
septic system, they can get another load and we can spread that out in the ruts
I think
and
the
stuff.
material that's there it could be done with.
Can-
Yeah,
yeah.
I think, I think it'd be done with the material that's there, and, just pulling rocks that they dug up. It's just dug up from the tracks of the,
Yeah,
whatever Bobcat or whatever they had out there. And, the other side didn't look as bad, actually.
And just to be clear, too, the other side isn't irrigated either, that softball side.
right, right, it's just the baseball.
Yep.
Yeah. All right,
And so that one also needs bases set if it's gonna be used. I don't know if
Mhm.
it's gonna be used,
There's a base set for that, too.
yeah.
Yeah, that could definitely get used.
So when you think that's gonna be used, he, Harley raked and rolled that, and so now it's a softball skin.
Yep, yep,
Looks pretty good.
yep.
And the places that they cleared up the drainage are really dry now after all this rain. I walked around the perimeter of the field, nothing is muddy anywhere,
That's awesome.
so that was a big improvement.
Mm.
So lots of
Good.
progress. I wonder though if the Bulldogs, maybe it could be asked if they would work out, working with us, getting that job done as their contribution to drywalling.
Yeah, I could certainly
I mean,
start.
they've been asking for a way to help.
Yeah.
Well, here's a real task that's here right now, and maybe there's someone among their number who knows somebody who does it, and they'd hire him and,
Yep.
or, pay him for, or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever if they're interested, I
Yep.
guess. I've been trying to think of a way that they could help
Right,
us, and
right.
they're offering.
Yep.
Right. Sorry, long-winded.
Great work.
all right, let's move on to scholarship update.
Okay. The update
Yellow
is,
package.
all the applicants that I received, I tirelessly made copies for everybody, and you have those, and it's your call as to how to proceed with that.
many
Julie
were there?
has some
6 of them, right?
information on dates and,
When do we have to decide by?
I think probably with Concord, if it's a Concord winner, their senior night will probably be the first Tuesday of June, which is the 7th. And if it's not a Concord person, like say it's Co-Brown, they graduate early. So
That's right.
I'm thinking 2 weeks from today would be a good date to shoot for the 17th of May to have a decision made so that we can notify the appropriate school. I don't know what, I know what Concord does. They'll send a letter out, and then they'll just let people know to come to awards night, and they don't know what they're getting, whether they're getting an academic award or a scholarship or what have you. So it's still hush-hush till that date. And as far as anybody going to another school, we could just find out what their procedure is, and so that they could announce it in a formal way there.
So should we plan to meet in 2 weeks, having read these?
We talked about earlier, we can do a poll, or we could do it through email rather than, we could rate them all and then
Okay.
go over it together.
Yeah.
How many do you have there? I had 7.
Yeah, I think there's
15.
7.
Just,
I love this sentence when I think about Joe Stone, this commitment to community, voluntary service to others, and principles of democracy. It's good.
That's awesome.
That's right. That's Joe.
I think that'll work to have.
Yeah, and then maybe we can, I could scan the packet and even email it to Amy, because I don't know how long she'll be.
I can run it by her
Out of
house.
town.
Is
Well,
she out of
she's-
town?
She's, because Verizon's striking, she's down in Long Island doing Verizon lineman's work.
Oh, she was
She's,
worried
I
that
thought you
that
were
was
gonna
gonna
say she would
happen.
be picketing.
no, she says, yeah. Yeah, she has her boots on and,
Wow.
yeah. So hopefully she'll be home soon, but there's no end in sight.
Hmm.
But we could scan it and email it to her, and then she could, and then Melissa should be back any day, I think.
And
So-
Brian and Ken.
So do we want to do that? Some
I
kind of reading?
can run Brian's by on the way home, so.
Okay.
I'll take Ken's.
Well, here's a Ken. Here's a Brian.
And I'll just scan mine.
A Melissa?
Melissa, I can take,
Somebody say Melissa? Didn't I have your house, says Melissa's or something?
They used, Ernie, they used every bit of space we cleared.
You won. No, you didn't.
Oh, really?
Every bit.
Yeah?
And
I can drop that
they
by.
pushed the stumps against that, you know, when they,
Yep, oh, wow.
when Sean's crew dug the stumps, they pushed them against that, and would have been better if they'd pushed them farther. But the brush pile was just back far enough, really. It's good. Good plan.
Good.
So just to, for the scholarship, we're gonna review them, and within the next,
Yeah, and then
by
what do you-
next, 2 weeks from tonight, we'll,
we should have a decision by the 17th. And so do we want to do that? Can we do that through email, or do we need to,
I'm okay doing it through email.
we'll rate our top 3 and
And we do, yeah,
individual,
top 4, there's 7 of them, so I rate 4.
rate them all and on a scale?
1 to 7, I guess, or,
Yeah, 1 to 7, and then,
Yeah, that would work, yeah.
I assume there's 7. And there's no, we don't expect any more applications?
No, deadline's
Deadline.
passed.
Yes. All right,
yeah, let's do that.
rate them from a 1 to a 7?
Yeah,
1 best.
1 being the best?
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, all right.
You clear.
And then we'll see where we stand.
Yeah.
Okay,
Sounds good. And if we have to, we can have a working meeting, just a quick
Yep.
meeting on either
On the
2 weeks from tonight or sometime, and.
yeah.
go over it. All right. Good on the scholarship?
Yep.
250 update.
So I brought the, some copies anyway, so there's 2 pages so that they're not stapled, so let's do. I'm not sure I have
I have one of my own, but.
everybody, but I made, well, this is a little bit different.
Oh, okay.
Keep the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Does everybody have one?
Yeah.
Oh, cool, we have enough. So, it's really time now to be nailing down what happens simultaneously and what's separated, and sort of what the flow is, and how, when a little child shows up and how they leave, and, you know, sort of thinking about people being there and that it's convenient for them and the best. So if anybody, the way I've been working that is sitting down with like one person, like Rebecca was really helpful, and just going through it, and she said, well, imagine you have little kids, and then imagine you're a teenager, And anyway, we moved some stuff around, but if you have any ideas about stuff that doesn't work in this, that's really helpful, because we do need to sort of settle this down now. The stuff that's specific to Parks and Rec, that yoga, you see, that came out of Parks and Rec. She wanted to do that in the morning.
Saturday at 8:30.
So you see, leading into kids' stuff, there's the parade, and then the militia drills, which is for kids. So I'm gonna ask them to do that then, the different units. There's 3 different groups of militia representing different wars. And then the half-track and sewer tank live maneuvers are actually gonna take it out in the parking lot and try to get it up into 3rd gear. And their tank, which they've never been able to do because they don't have that big a space, so they're pretty excited about that. So that thing will be charging around, swinging its turret, I don't know what all, driving over cars, or, it's not a very big tank, you know, on the scale that you're used to, but it's still
Tank.
more than 8 feet wide. It's a, you know, it's a kind of tank that would take on a landing craft and land on an island. It's a marine tank. So then the children's games are then, and the children's treasure hunt by the Deerfield Fire Department. And that's sort of the children's time on that day. So if they came for the parade at 3 o'clock, they could be finished with that stuff, and maybe they don't care about the excavator rodeo and the baseball game. And we're gonna have a dance in the evening with, what's his name, Joe?
Barry Briley and Dana Briley.
Oh,
Offered to
sidecar.
do it. Right, sidecar, he offered to do it, so that should be really cool. We're getting a dance floor in the tent. And then, so then the next day, Julie has that 5K road race at 9. And then you see that there's the frog jumping contest at 11:30. So there isn't something for little kids to show up for, really, unless they come to the church service. You know, the truck show will be that day. But then the frog jumping at 11:30, and then the pedal tractor pull, I'm trying to get Kubota to sponsor that right now. We'll see. We'll do something pretty cool with that. And then there'll be pony rides for kids and more militia drills. Anybody who didn't get to do them yet or got into it. So there's that segment for kids, and some of that is Parks and Rec. The children's pedal tractor pull may be Parks and Rec too. We'll see if I can get a vendor to buy in. And then there's that horse jumping demonstration. The 18th century skills, crafts, and trades will be very interesting to some kids. Like, there's R.P. Hale just agreed to come, I don't know if anybody knows who he is, but he's like Thomas Jefferson of Concord. You know, he does all these 18th century skills, like he plays the organ and teaches physics, and is an 8th generation calligrapher and printer, and he's gonna make a wood block for our 250th, for Deerfield's 250th, and then print it on this 18th century printing press that uses a woodcut, and then sell them. And then there's the Wells Fargo Stagecoach Ride, which will be very popular, I'm sure. So there's a lot of stuff then. We're gonna do this thing, I'm trying to build up the fireworks to be something to attend rather than drive in your car. You won't be able to see it as well from your car as you have in the past anyway, because of how it's gonna be located and how the parking is gonna be. But so we're gonna give away ice cream before the concert starts and at the intermission.
hook? That's the hook?
That was a suggestion from the Matthews. That hasn't gone through the committee yet, but I'm sure they'll buy in. And the community school band will play, and then the Timberlane Community Band concert. And at their intermission, we'll have the finals of the corn bag toss championship. And then we'll serve ice cream during that period, and then they'll play again, and then they'll play the Stars and Stripes Forever leading into fireworks. And then,
Also committed to having an entry in the parade for Parks and Rec,
good.
which I committed to way back when. So yeah, I'm just looking at my own schedule on that. So, and for me, what are my other areas that I don't have Parks and Rec
The
that I need
important
to?
commitments for you are the parade.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have a reviewing stand or announcing stand set up for you and mic'd, and the sound is all worked out. We have amazing sound support. We're gonna have a bunch of different sound systems and speakers all over and be able to communicate with people really well. So the parade is one, and then that afternoon, the excavator rodeo,
Mhm.
that's you. And I don't know what needs to happen with baseball, that's Howie and
Yep.
and Dwight are working on that, what needs to happen with officiating and having pitchers and
Yep.
whatever, I'll be talking to them more about that.
You said on Expert, the rodeo is Joe's, does that mean it's Parks and Recs, or is that?
No, he's announcing it.
Oh,
MC.
okay, okay,
No, it's not Parks and Recs. No, that's, Anderson Equipment is really doing that.
yeah, okay.
And, right, that's well underway. That's all coming together fine.
Okay, so in terms of an entry in the parade, I should plan not to be the one driving that.
Yes.
Okay.
The other one you have is that cemetery tour. We're actually getting a
Right.
school bus, so we really, just one van would be fine. If there's overflow from the school bus, then we'll use the van. So, but that's on June 18th. That's a different weekend entirely.
Yep.
See that?
Yep.
All right. And, I mean, if you wanted to play drums or sidecar, they'd probably have you. I'm trying to get my son-in-law to play bass. So, all right, I invited him and put him in contact with each other. We'll see. And so the children's tractor pull, that might fall to Parks and Rec, but we'll have the equipment for it. We'll have it figured out how to do it. That's it.
There was also talk about not just an old timers baseball game, but a alumni kind of baseball game.
And that could be what these are.
Okay.
Um,
that's
And
Dwight
that,
Howie
and that
doing
field is available for use other times,
Yeah.
and it could be used other times.
Okay.
There's going to be a 40 by 100-foot tent that's along the parade route, that has a dance floor in it, and a 40 by 60-foot tent up near the Farm Museum for the 18th century skills, crafts, trades demonstrations.
Well, if you want to give me a time in that field for me to put together my mushball game, I will do so.
All right, I think that's talking to Dwight and
Okay.
Howie then.
And if it's too much, or that's fine too, but I said I would do it, so.
Yeah, I think that's
Happy
talking
to.
to them.
Okay.
I had gotten a call from Jeannie Menard too, and we just played phone tag, but she had mentioned something about trying to get together a women's softball game. So I'm not sure where that, we just gotta catch each other.
I hope you're cross-promoting and telling them we want all women involved in our 15th annual softball season. 15th
I'll make sure.
co-ed softball season.
Are you taking entries for that now?
Absolutely.
My neighbor's asking for one.
I think
They're
we're
orange.
multitasking. I'm taking Red Sox ticket sales, softball forms, we're
They're
doing it
down in the
all.
office?
Yep.
Let's try to remember to give me one before I go.
Sure.
He stopped me on the way here and asked for it.
Nice.
So if there's any other suggestions about this,
One,
it's really a compilation of input from a lot of people. This is all just stuff people have suggested. I just listen and write it down.
a couple things, and we can get together later on, but on the 5K road race, we talked about at the 250 meeting that I went to about a kids' fun run. So I was down there this weekend, kind of scoping out where we could do like a 7 and under kids' fun run within the fairgrounds, like a short little loop. And also been checking out, awards and so forth. I did meet with Jim McKenzie at the fairgrounds with the course, because you and I talked about trying to move it in. There's 2 different scenarios, but you and I could talk more about it later. There's one where we just move it inside the fence, the start and the finish, basically do the same course that we did with Catamount. Or I went down this weekend and tried to map out something going through the fairgrounds and then out to the parking lot, with a little bit more of the running being within the fairgrounds. But I think what I want to do is get with you on making sure that that pathway, the 2 options I have inside the fairgrounds would be clear and be.
At that time in the morning, they're clear. The
And we want-
fairgrounds is clear.
Okay, and we wanted to move it up to 8:30. Jim and I talked about the race and thought 8:30 would be a better time, because a little cooler. And then we don't interrupt with awards the church service that's going to be starting at 10. So 8:30 to 9:30, we would pretty much be done with. with the 5K.
And would the kids be at the same time?
The kids would, I think we'd do maybe like at 9:15, 9:30, do after, but it'd be away from the church. It'd be kind of down where the rides are, where the rides typically are placed during the fair. There's like a nice loop down there that we could do where it's out of the, I was concerned about having it where everything is because too much going on and not being able to see the kids the whole way if there's a lot of activity going on there and equipment and so forth.
Yeah, if the church service comes off well, I think we shouldn't have anything happening simultaneously.
Right, right.
So we shouldn't be having the kids race during the church service.
No, it would be at 9:30. That's like a 2-3 minute thing where they're just gonna run a little loop. They're
Yeah.
7-year-olds, 7 and under, 3-year-olds, just,
Well, that area you said probably would work well. The truck show is gonna be down there, but it won't be there yet. The encampments will be down there, but that'd be cool. You
okay.
just run past the encampment.
I figure we'll put some cones around just to.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I can talk with you more about that later, but the main thing is that to do a kids' fun run and moving the time up to 8:30 for the 5K and. we gotta-
And the only other thing I was gonna ask was, where is the best way for people to get this, either on, a website, a
Well,
Facebook page, or
I-
the hard copies?
I haven't published it yet because we're still trying to work it out, like we
Yep.
just changed something.
Yep.
And once you publish it, it can be a problem for you.
Sure.
Then you make changes and people say, well, my schedule says. So it's been very limited so far, but that's why I'm asking for input aggressively now, because I'm trying to get to the point of putting it out, because people are asking to see it, and
But stay in touch with the 250 Facebook page or whatever, at least that will get in the right direction stuff.
yeah, we have a Twitter account that's Deerfield 250 also, and I imagine that's gonna get more use as it gets closer, and we'll start, we'll probably have online registration for the cornhole tournament. We can only take 64 teams total, 32 for each day. You'd get to say which day you wanted to be in. If you win that day, then you'd be expected to play Sunday night. But you don't know what time your matches would be, and you'd have at least 2 and maybe as many as 6 or something, whatever it takes to finish that. So that'll be happening online, and there will be some cost to do that, $10 a team or something. Julie was saying to open that about 4 weeks before the event. Does that sound right?
Mhm.
Open the registration?
About 4 weeks before, oh, yeah, yeah.
That's about right?
Yeah.
And
I
have it
think
open
two-
for 2 weeks.
Yeah, it has kind of a publicity thing now that we're going to have it, and then,
Right.
yeah, I think that's.
I'm getting the award is gonna be a board that's really, Matt and Torin together designed a set of boards that are beautiful, and I'll get those made, and then we'll start putting pictures of those out too, and they can be displayed
Beautiful.
down here or something.
Yeah, yeah.
They'll be really nice.
Oh, one other thing too, on the road race, I checked with Sarah Chase at the school, and they've gotten a number of entries for the contest for the T-shirt. So, and the deadline for that, I believe, is next Wednesday. So we should be able to come up with,
I knew that it was a good idea to do it during math class.
So publishing this, I'll probably put it out on Google Drive and make it public, and then put a link to it on Facebook. And
Yeah.
put a link to it on the town website and on the forum.
Well, even having this locked in, I'm gonna do some cross-promotion with, where you mentioned about Sidecar, because we're gonna have our summer concert series flyer, and I'll mention as part of this Deerfield's 250 celebration on this weekend, and I'll tie that in as well, too, for that.
All right.
Great. Great. Deerfield Hoop Classics update.
Yeah, the only thing I wanted to update with that was I said at the last meeting I would get with the 8th grade class representatives to talk about how things went on their end, and they were pleased with how they did. I think they thought they took in about $2,500. Again, mainly because they didn't have, I think she mentioned her expenses were like in the $40-something range, or something like that, because everything was donated by the families and stuff. So she, Sue Fifield, who is sort of the class in waiting, worked with the 8th grade class, because they'll be becoming the 8th grade class. She thinks she's gonna send something to us that says we would like to do it again if you'd consider us, and my thought was that if we got that, we would probably recommend them doing it again and so forth. So that's where that came out. And then we got some more complete numbers on how we did, and it looked like a profit of just over, or close to $3,400 without doing the food, so.
Good. All right, so we're good on that?
Yep.
All right, other items?
I have a couple. I want to say that as well as the Hartford Brook project and how great that's been going, we're also really trying to make across the street as great as we can, as usual, and things are looking really good with that right now. I mean, like any other field, it's a money pit, and we're putting all in, but we recut the entire softball infield, we resurfaced the baseball infield, we did all the other usual stuff that we do. We had a good field day a couple of weeks ago as well, and so that's going well. Our opening day ceremonies, unfortunately, were washed out on Sunday. We're trying to reschedule because we had a bunch of things where we were going to recognize the Girl Scouts. We had some people who were going to throw the first pitch. We had some presentations for our 12-year-olds. So we're trying to reorganize how we can fit that into the season now that they're off and running with their game schedule and so forth. But so that's where that's at. I also wanted to, as part of the field, give big thanks to Ernie, who was down there this past week and totally redid our hot water system, which definitely needed it because it was a leaking and maybe electrical nightmare, and I'm going to defer to him on what exactly, how he made the magic happen, but it's much appreciated because it's working great and the water is cleaner than it's ever been.
Well, I replaced the unit, and in my root cause analysis, why don't you pass that down? It's just basically debris, I think, that, and even when I was there, I did some flushing and sand, fairly substantial size grains would come out. We might want to consider some kind of filter. And I think that might be characteristic of the intermittent use, and that might apply to Hartford Brook as well. I don't know if we've gone so far as specifying, what we're going to use. But I imagine it'll be some kind of instantaneous as opposed to a storage type, which is what I have down here. The other one was a bit of a hybrid. It was a very small tank. But the one I have now has almost no tank. Water flows over the elements, and it's probably a little more susceptible to clogging. It's my only concern. So I think the recent cleanliness is maybe all the flushing that I did. But that, and I don't know how old it is, about 6 years, 5 years maybe, that unit.
At least, yeah.
And that's a substantial amount of buildup. So I think, just with a paper filter, a real simple paper filter, I mean, I'd be more than happy to install it. But that may apply to Hartford Brook as well. Yep, lesson learned kind of thing.
Well, again, thank you for doing all that. We went from no hot water to great hot water and clean-looking water.
It's not a good thing,
Yeah.
without the hot water.
Yeah, and that water too, I mean, obviously it has limited application. We're just using it for washing or watering, whatever, but it was so dirty that.
And hard,
it
it's very
stained-
hard.
Yeah, stained
Anyway.
everything that it used, and I couldn't even do it like to steam water or anything like that. It wasn't really usable for that, but it looks a lot better, so it's great. Couple of other items. Yanni's got a new grill, and we got an old grill.
An old
I'm
new
not
grill.
sure how we're going to use it yet, but I figure with 2 buildings and whatever, it works fine. It,
You like a flat top
a
grill?
little cleanup, yeah. So right now I have it sitting in the van. I can bring it down below. I can bring it to the new field, something, but I couldn't just let it go to the,
It's propane, I imagine?
no, it's actual electric.
Electric, oh.
I mean, good, heavy
Yeah.
piece of machinery, but it's electric. Yeah, I was surprised too, because that was my experience, was propane with those. But so we have that. And the only other, real quickly, we started our youth wrestling program this past Sunday night, which was a lot of fun. We had some really good, experienced coaches involved in it, and all doing it voluntarily. And
Who are they?
Good program.
I'm just curious.
Sean Bolduck, Bill Nichols, Donald Lord. Yeah.
Oh, excellent.
Sean Bolduck just got inducted into the Concord High School Wrestling Hall of Fame stuff, so and he coaches in our softball program as well. And great guy, and just really good with the kids, with what their approach was his first night. So hopefully that'll build from there. And lastly, I guess one of the big fireworks displays that tend to pop up at the fairgrounds is happening Saturday, May 7th. And the gentleman doing it stopped by the office and said if we wanted to do anything for it. I took it to mean as a fundraiser for us, because he said, do you do fundraisers and things like that? So he stopped by, and so I'm just bringing it here to see if, I don't know, maybe I went back to him and said, yeah, we could do the ice cream for it, but it's,
Did you say May 7th?
That's Saturday.
The Saturday.
that's Saturday night, yes,
Might be selling cocoa.
yeah.
Actually, it's supposed to be
Nice
rainy.
on the week.
Sunday's good, but Saturday I heard was less
Supposed
so.
to be 60s.
I would
Yeah, I
think
thought I heard the weekend was good, but
Yeah, yeah.
it'd be kind of late notice for us to pull something together.
Yeah.
Is this
Yeah.
the
Oh, good.
practice
Yeah,
that they do, or?
yeah, I think, and it's,
Different apps, they do.
Yeah.
seems pretty low-key, but I think it has been in the past as well, because like you say, it's sort of a practice
Yeah.
event or whatever. But I could just call them and thank them and say we're not gonna put it together for this time, we got a lot of things going on.
Yeah, I think, I don't think we can pull it together at this point.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
We have one.
Yeah.
Well, the selectmen have been asked about use of Hartford Brookfield. So I said I would bring to us the question of a policy on how and who uses it. There's a cost to it. My thought is there should be no cost to it, it's a town field, but I don't know how if there's any policy now in place for bicentennial, for, somebody to rent it.
Right.
So I guess it's something we need to consider.
Yeah, different towns do different things with that. Some do have like a rental agreement and so forth. We haven't had that in the past. We do across the street ask that they just go through us, just again, so we know what's going on there, who's using it, who's responsible, how it's left, if there are any issues, things like that. But I could be happy to bring back some different ideas and different policies other communities are using, or even actual forms.
Forms, yeah, I was thinking if we had a form, I mean, I don't know what you guys feel, but I'm not sure it's right to actually charge people to use it.
Yep.
But I don't know, like bicentennial, do you let them use the building? Or is it just the field?
Just a feel.
And I'm thinking Hartford Brook now that there's a bathroom, do we let them use the bathroom? It's a, I guess it's
Well, the bathroom situation, we're gonna maintain the porta potty as well as have that bathroom, and I would suggest that the building bathroom is only gonna be open when we're having our
Oh, there's
events.
gonna be a porta potty there too?
Yeah.
Okay.
In the
yeah.
parking lot where
Yeah.
it is now.
Yeah, all right, that's fine. So maybe if you could put something, you find a form.
Yeah.
I think it's smart to have, at least know, like you said, who's gonna be using it for what.
Yep.
And,
Establish a policy.
yeah,
Do you have private parties using bicentennial?
Not really. I mean, over the years, minimally, but
Here's some-
either they just kind of, some kids might just show up and use it,
Yeah,
not worry
well,
about that, or occasionally I'll get,
I guess someone's asked
Somebody
about
asked.
Hartford Brook and being able to use that. That's how this all came up. I'm not even sure who it is, or I think they came to Jan and asked about using the field.
Wait,
they
that's a
didn't-
big neighborhood there, sorry.
Yeah. No, they didn't
And-
say whether it was a regular basis or just a one-time thing.
Right.
or-
But I think it's just a good idea for us.
Yep.
To have something.
Yeah.
So maybe if you could, put something together and just give it to Jan, I can bring it back up, or give it to me and.
Yep.
Bring it up.
yeah, I
with
mean,
us.
we're growing. I mean, this stuff is gonna become more and more of an issue,
Mm.
and people are gonna wanna use the
If
facilities.
nothing
and
else,
stuff.
just to schedule.
Yep.
Just to know,
Right.
so that's what I had. Anybody else?
Good.
clean shaven.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you guys did it up.
All right,
Motion to conclude?
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Yeah.
Anybody want to go rake that third base, outside the fence?
Go what?
Clean up